The golf world is in the midst of an epic battle that could shape the future of the sport. On one side, we have the PGA Tour, the traditional powerhouse that's been the gold standard for decades. On the other hand, we have LIV Golf, a Saudi-backed upstart that has been shaking things up with its untraditional formats and big money tournaments. Now, in a move that will make waves, the PGA Tour is adopting some of LIV Golf's most radical ideas, with a designated event model set to shake up the tour schedule in 2024. Players and fans alike are left wondering what this means for the future of the sport. Will the PGA Tour's changes be enough to fend off its rival? And what impact will this have on golfers at every level? Stick around because we're diving deep into the details. Welcome to Golf Links, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all of the latest golf-related news and analysis. There are several ways that the lifestyles of the top players in the PGA Tour and those who aspire to join them are being supported this year and in the upcoming seasons. And this is all thanks to a few new incentives, like the Player Impact Program bonus, the Comcast Business Tour incentive, and a FedEx Cup bonus pool increase. And you know what the catalyst for all of this was? None other than LIV Golf. Without a shadow of a doubt, they've shaken things up and forced the PGA Tour to up its game. The PGA Tour held a 90-minute meeting with players at TPC Sawgrass in Point Verde, Florida, home of this year's Players' Championship and Tour headquarters, to discuss the Tour Policy Board's approval of substantial changes to the Tour's 2024 calendar and structure. Simply put, the Tour will have 8 designated events with limited fields, no cuts, and $20 million payouts to get the top players together more frequently and to reward them more handsomely while still offering chances for the rest of the membership. The changes to the PGA Tour's field and payout reward come at the culmination of a protracted debate among players about how to effectively respond to the mega millions LIV Golf has offered to lure golfers to the rival Saudi-backed tour without compromising the PGA Tour's more competitive nature. And it has been a process that has, at times, been controversial. I think the temperature in the room was nowhere near as heated as I expected it to be after the information was sort of given out, Rory McIlroy said during a news conference following the meeting. The issue of debate was the tour's strategy for limited access events, the first version of which was presented at a players-only gathering in Delaware last year and included details of a subset of 14 competitions with 50 players, no cuts, and $20 million in prize money. This was the first time rank-and-file tour members witnessed the creation of a 2-tiered structure that called into question the tour's promises to offer a superior product to LIV Golf, whose 54-hole no-cut events and guaranteed wages were characterized as encouraging less passion and competitive integrity. However, the PGA Tour's formally revised system will grant the top 50 players access to 8 no-cut tournaments with $20 million payouts and better FedEx Cup point distributions. They will be a part of a roster of 16 designated events, including the 4 majors, the Players, and the 3 FedEx Cup playoff competitions. With fields of 70 to 80 players for the 8 elevated tournaments, there will be opportunities for those outside the top 50 to play their way in. The Player Impact Program was also boosted to $100 million, although it will be reduced to $50 million next year. The remaining $50 million will be split between the FedEx Cup bonus program and the Comcast Business Tour program. Also, the top 50 players from the FedEx Cup point standings from the previous year, the top 10 players on the FedEx list at the time of the event, tournament winners, players ranked in the top 30 in the world who are otherwise ineligible, and 4 sponsor invitations, which are only open to PGA Tour members, will be included in the elevated fields. The schedule will be completed with an additional 29 full-field events with a cut, allowing everyone to compete and advance in the rankings. The general idea is to establish a tournament schedule with 2 designated events, 3 non-designated tournaments, and 2 more designated events. The top 5 scorers from the 3 non-designated stops would gain entry into the following designated event. In addition, each PGA Tour winner would automatically qualify for every designated tournament that season. But cutting down on field sizes has undoubtedly irked many of the PGA Tour's so-called rank-and-file non-stars, since it may mean fewer opportunities to compete. The most vocal of this group has been James Hahn, currently ranked number 305 in the world. He stated on social media that, under the new model, the rich grow richer. The changes, he said on Twitter, offer the top golfers additional possibilities to stay on top. And by removing events from average players, the tour has effectively given the top golfers 8 extra tournaments with guaranteed cash and points. However, Commissioner Jay Monahan defended the new changes at his press conference, claiming that the limited field events will provide intrigue for other tournaments throughout the season, as players want to advance in the rankings and get into elevated events. The stakes at lower profile events will be higher. Similarly, Monahan pointed out that players with rankings between 50 and 70 will be attempting to preserve their standing and stay in the running. According to McIlroy, who also spoke with the media, the new method will create a competitive incentive beyond merely winning that tournament, boosting the chances for the non-designated events. Therefore, winning these non-designated events will allow golfers to enter events with the largest prize pools. At the same time, the new changes meet two of the tour aims throughout the process, having the best players face off more frequently and guaranteeing that the stars are there for all 4 days of action for sponsors, who will now be required to pay considerably larger checks and TV partners. Also, when questioned about why the recently implemented structure differs so significantly from the one that players at Delaware agreed upon last year, McIlroy said that he believed that if they had taken that route, it wouldn't have served the membership nearly as well as what this structure provides, and that this structure was for the benefit of everyone. However, when the question of whether the radical changes to the PGA Tour were caused by LIV Golf arose, the PGA Tour commissioner and its players had differing opinions. McIlroy, one of the PGA Tour's staunchest advocates in his acrimonious rivalry with LIV, claimed the upstart tour's introduction drove the US-based circuit to evolve. He also said that without the emergence of LIV Golf, such changes would not have occurred. McIlroy added that he believed the emergence of LIV, or the emergence of a challenger to the PGA Tour, had helped everyone who played elite professional golf. He stated that he thought there needed to be more motivation to innovate when you've been the biggest golf league in the world's biggest market for the past 60 years, and the PGA Tour has seen a lot of innovation due to this. He concluded that the PGA Tour wasn't simply up against LIV Golf and other sports. It also competes with Instagram, TikTok, and anything else that tries to divert attention away from the PGA Tour as a product. McIlroy's comments were echoed by world number 1, Jon Rahm, who agreed that the introduction of LIV Golf had fueled the push to change on the PGA Tour. Without a doubt, Rahm said, this would not have occurred without LIV Golf. We should be grateful that this danger has prompted the PGA Tour to make changes. I wish it hadn't come to the PGA Tour being criticized by someone else to make those changes and improve things for the players, but I suppose it was necessary. Well, yes, it is because of LIV Golf. We wouldn't have seen any of this anywhere else. Nevertheless, the PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan defended the no-cut events beginning in 2024, stating that the PGA Tour had previously staged similar format tournaments. He explained that the players who compete in the PGA Tour's tournaments in this new structure next year will have earned the right to compete by finishing in the top 50 of the FedEx Cup this year. He also added that the PGA Tour has always had 72-hole stroke play tournaments with a limited field and no cut, and Jack Nicklaus won in that style 17 times. Arnold Palmer won 23, Tiger Woods won 26 times. Jay Monahan concluded that those victories, in his opinion, were not diminished by the format, and the same will be true in 2024, 25, and 26. In response to the changes announced by the PGA Tour, LIV Golf rebels Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter accused the PGA Tour of imitating them. Westwood tweeted after the changes were revealed last week, "I've spent the last year reading how fantastic full fields and cuts are." Poulter commented on Twitter that it sounds very similar to another product that's been spoken so negatively of by the media and analysts. Later, LIV Golf tweeted, "Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Congratulations to the PGA Tour. Welcome to the future." So, with the golf world abuzz with speculation, there's one burning question on everyone's lips. Would golfers have defected to LIV Golf if the PGA Tour's daring changes had hit a year earlier?